Hello, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to my show. I'm Ruwa Shah, and you're listening and watching to Salam Media. It has been over a month since the bloody clashes occurred in the Himalayan region in Ladakh between the two nuclear armed countries, India and China, leaving dozens of Indian armed forces injured severely, while the Chinese government did not confirm it, but the Indian government says that there were injuries on the other side too. Now, how does this entire situation affect the local population in Ladakh? And what does it all have to do with the Kashmir dispute? To talk about this in detail, we have from Kashmir with us Akash Hassan, who is a freelance journalist, and he was in the Ladakh region to cover the issue recently. Now, later in the show, we'll have a Ladakhi activist and politician Sajjad Hussain Kargili. He will be talking about the situation in Ladakh. You can watch this video on our social media pages of Salam Media, and you can share it from there. Meanwhile, we're trying to get Akash with us. Hello, Akash, and welcome to my show.
Thanks for having me, Ruwa. Thank you.
Akash, you were recently in Ladakh, I believe, and you did some stories from there. What did you witness in the region?
Yes, I was in Ladakh just a week after the standoff took place, the violent standoff between the two armies. Uh, but unfortunately, let me give this overview of what was happening there. Unfortunately, when we landed in the Leh, the main city of the and capital of Ladakh, the reporters were confined to Leh city. In fact, for 1 week, we were told by authorities that you cannot move out citing the COVID-19 reasons. We had to go through COVID-19 testing, and that's a usual process. But the results didn't arrive till 8 days. So we were confined to hotels. But yeah, from the hotel, what we could see is that jets were hovering over the skies continuously. There was a lot of air traffic. I mean, Air Force was proactive, and yes, there was a lot of uh, ground troops were moving. The convoys of military was moving. But yes, as reporters do witness in normal circumstances, we were not allowed to do that.
Right. So, how far could you actually go into the region? Because the clashes occurred in the Galwan Valley, which is quite far, I believe, 300 kilometers from the Ladakh region.
Ruwa, we were confined to Lesti. We were not able to move out. We were not allowed to move out beyond the Leh municipal limits. So yes, we were around 300 kilometers east of Galwan Valley where the clashes took place. So if technically speaking, we were very far from the actual place of confrontation.
So, how could you do your reporting? Did you get to do some stories?
Yes, I did. I did file some reports from Leh for Guardian, Telegraph, and a few other international publications. It was really a tough task. I mean, in Kashmir, we do witness really difficult situations in the view of how we get access to the areas where the story is taking place, where the situation is escalating. But this time, I mean, you were not allowed to move beyond the hotel. You were confined in your room. So we had to do most of our interviews were based on we did interviews on phone. Sometimes we were able to call the guests to the hotel where we could interview them, maintaining proper social distancing. So yes, with the social distance and phone calls, we were able to manage some interviews and do whatever possible we could.
Right, Akash. So, the it has been quite a while since the tension actually began on the border. But are there any official figures from the Indian government that how many actual number of fights or exchanges occurred between the troops of China and India, or if there are any casualties or injuries? Is there any official figure on all of that?
Uh, Well, I have been trying to get the official figures on the number of casualties in the past maybe 10 years or past 1 year, um, and number of times uh, standoff or such fights have taken place, have been happening in this area, but there is no official word on it. Uh, but yes, off the record, the officials are saying there have been a lot of fights, fist fights, and with these batons. But yeah, it's for the first time that casualty has taken place on the any side like this.
Right, Akash. Now, this development happened a year after, almost a year after the Indian government scrapped Kashmir of its partial autonomy and the Article 370 was abrogated. What does all of this have to do with that, and how is it related to the Kashmir issue, if at all?
Uh, I think we cannot afford to see this, whatever is happening on the eastern Ladakh, in isolation. I've been talking to experts, professors, and the political observers in the region. They maintain that this has the Chinese action in Ladakh is related, excuse me, to the situation, to the India's unilateral move in Kashmir in August 2019. If you see, the reason they give is that if you see that soon after India's decision in August last year, China, China, China issued a statement condemning and terming it unacceptable to them. They even openly supported the Pakistan's position on Kashmir, which is against what New Delhi did in August last year. So, given all these statements and reactions from the China, it seems that now China is now a proactive party in the Kashmir dispute, and they have clearly. I mean, when Galwan incident took place, there were Chinese experts who openly wrote articles stating that it has to do with uh, August 5 decision of New Delhi. So yes, I mean, I can say that we cannot afford to see the incident or the incident which happened in Galwan Valley in isolation.
So you mean that, as you said, China is an active party to the Kashmir dispute. Earlier, when the Kashmir issue used to be discussed, it was India, Pakistan, and Kashmir. Now you think that China has a claim on the dispute.
I mean, see, China already holds, they control a chunk of land which was part of erstwhile Jammu and Kashmir
The
and
Aksai
Ladakh.
Chin. The
I mean,
Aksai
that
Chin.
area, yeah, Aksai Chin,
Mhm.
exactly. And they do, I mean, they are openly saying and they are in clear terms maintaining that the disputed nature of the region should not be changed. And they have been very vocally condemning New Delhi's August 5 decision. And then we see this suddenly there has been this sort of incident, violent incident in the Galwan Valley. They are very proactive. There has been build up. So obviously, and whatever experts are saying, if we relate all these dots, it does indicate that yes, China is very proactive now, and it will not be exaggeration if we say that yes, they are now China is now a China is now very much a party in the Kashmir
Right.
dispute.
And how you are in Kashmir, Akash? How is this move being seen in Kashmir, inside Kashmir? What are the reactions of the people, if at all there are any, and how are the political parties reacting to that?
Well, I have been speaking to people on ground, and yes, they're very surprised, astonished by the development. They were not expecting, I think, most of the people in Kashmir were not expecting such sort of development on the eastern side, and that too after, as it's going to be a year soon when the uh, Kashmir was when New Delhi passed this did this made these changed in the autonomous status of Kashmir. So people obviously are very surprised. They are very keen to know that what are the new developments taking place, and they obviously see it in context of the changing contours of the Kashmir dispute. They obviously feel that yes, now we will have to look at China as well, that what they are doing, and it is now to Kashmiris a matter of political interest.
Right. Also, Akash, if you have an idea, if you can give us an idea about how dangerous is this standoff really? The line of actual control that we are talking about is quite porous and quite dangerous because there are rivers, there's a rocky, mountainy road border. How is it going to, how is the military action, if at all there would be any, uh, going to go happen?
Ruwa, I think it will be, it's unimaginable. I don't know how to put it in words, but these are two huge military powers. Uh, and if, God forbid, they go for a conventional or other sort of war, it will be catastrophic for not only for the region but for entire world. And also, if it's a small scale war or something like that, it's certainly going to be very, very bloody and very catastrophic. Also, as you rightly said, the border is very, it's badly, it's poorly demarcated. There
Mhm.
are rivers, there are huge mountains, and if you also see the location of the area, it's one of the world's most inhospitable areas with tall peaks. At average, there is the Ladakh region is at 15,000 feet. So I would say yes, it will be catastrophic, and that's the last thing someone would want on either side.
Right, and also I believe that area is completely inhabited because there are no natural suitable conditions for human life. Akash,
I'm sorry, Rua. Can you
yeah,
please repeat what you said?
can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's fine.
I just added to what you were saying that there are no people living in that area. It's completely inhabited, if I am not wrong, right? So what I wanted to ask you,
No, sorry. Yeah, there are actually, yeah, just wanted to add, sorry to
yeah,
cut you. There are actually nomads who used to and who are some places living in these areas.
mhm,
So they have been sort of moving to and fro in this area. So at number of places, most of the times these shepherds and nomad shepherds don't know that where is the actual uh, line of
border,
control
right?
yeah, line of actual control. So because there are no fences or something like that. And yes, as I have also reported previously after my reporting trip to Leh, that these shepherds are complaining that Indian army doesn't allow them to move to their pasture, these green patches where they were taking their herd, these cattle to. And they're also alleging that a lot of these green pastures have been taken over by Chinese army, not only in this at this time when this Galwan incident happened or around this time, but they are saying it has been happening over the years. They are saying that, for example, from last 30 or 40 years, they have been coming closer and closer, and these shepherds, nomad shepherds, are actually in danger. As you said, I'm just mentioning about it because you said that
Right.
it's mostly
Yeah,
uninhabited.
yes, I think I did
Uh,
read one of the stories where they say that even the goat from which the cashmere fabric is, produced,
yes.
the production of that has been affected also. So
So we're also at
what
a
we're trying to
situation,
say
sorry
is
to
that
cut
there is
you
a
again.
perpetual tension on the border, and it has also affected those nomad groups for many years.
Exactly. Yeah, I just wanted to I wanted to add on that that we are at a situation where these nomadic shepherds, which they are actually doing, they're actually moving out from those areas. I was just speaking with an activist, a local activist and politician from that area, that most of these shepherds are now moving to urban areas. They are selling their property and their cattle in these areas, and they are coming to Leh town or some other urban areas. Gradually and unfortunately, I would say that we are witnessing that these people are migrating to the urban pockets, and we are in some time, if it remains like this, going to see that there will be no more famous pashmina from that area.
Right. Akash, coming back to what was happening on the Galwan, the actions by the Chinese army on the Galwan border, are they in any way being downplayed by the Indian media particularly and the government also, because there are various contradictory statements coming from some army experts said that China has actually occupied a part of land in Ladakh, while Prime Minister Modi went on saying that no land has been occupied.
Ruwa, the first aspect is, as told you earlier, that reporters, journalists were not allowed to move beyond Lesti. The first aspect I want to talk about is that most of the TV channels, New Delhi and Mumbai-based TV channels, are actually lying to people about this ground situation. They are not. They most of the times claim that they are near the confrontation area. They are Galwan, but they are actually lying. They used to report from Leh, which is 300 kilometers away from the spot. And I have seen reporters, the TV reporters, claiming that right now we are at ground zero, but unfortunately, or but surprisingly, they used to be on the terrace of the hotel. So that's irony. How media has been reporting, how the Indian media has been reporting this whole issue. Um, and yes, I would not hesitate to say that the Indian media and Indian government has been downplaying whatever has been happening in Galwan and surrounding areas, because clearly satellite images show that there has been Chinese incursion. There has been land has been which used to be earlier under Indian control taken by China. Moreover, there are locals on record, not only local shepherds but local leaders, also
Mhm.
from BJP, on record saying that yes, China has been over the years taking over our land, and even this time they are coming closer. So,
Now, help me
by all
understand this,
these accounts,
Akash. Right. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been one of the most, strongest figures in the Indian politics so far. And since he came to power, his regime has been taken some bold steps. Let's talk about Article 370, abrogation of Article 370, Babri Masjid, or demonetization. Those were some extreme step, or even the this Citizenship Amendment Act. So all of these are very bold steps that the previous governments would have really thought about before taking them. And even when there is a situation between India and Pakistan in Kashmir or in any other part, they immediately respond by either surgical strikes or those heavy words that the Indian governments, all the leaders of this party, go on saying on national TV. Why so much silence this time?
well, I think the government will be in best position to respond to this. But yes, this is a question to be asked. Why this much silence? And well, I think if talking how what experts and what political commentators are, what they find out is that yes, it is simple that China is militarily and economically more powerful than what is the state of economy and military might of India right now. So yes, I think and what observers and what we have been seeing, that India is trying to downplay it, also trying to work on diplomacy front, because New Delhi doesn't want probably a direct confrontation with the China, which is in all the scenarios going to be a bad thing for India and its military, given the economy and the military might they have.
Right, Akash. Recently, Congress accused Modi of sort of being irresponsible about this issue. Rahul Gandhi went on saying in a video that China has a larger agenda, and this is their technique of bringing Modi to his knees and actually pressurizing the Indian government on Kashmir. How do you see this statement coming from Congress?
Well, whatever has happened in Galwan should really worry the Indian government. And 20 of their soldiers have been killed, and they should explain the situation to the people of India and to the politicians as well. They should answer to these questions. I mean, whatever Congress has been saying, I would say that they're right in asking these questions. If Modi has been coming out as a very bold leader, making these, as you rightly said, these very bold decisions. Right now, when 20 Indian soldiers have been killed in this violent, in this uncalled, in this very surprising standoff, uh, people were expecting, and given his way of respond to things, it should
Right.
have been differently. Yes.
Also, explain to us if you have an idea about the economic relationship between India and China. Now, India recently banned over 50 Chinese applications in India. Do you think
Yeah.
it really matters to China? Beijing is concerned about how many people in India are using their applications.
Well, it might concern the owners of the CEOs of these applications, nothing beyond. Because if we have to look at it like, it's not that Chinese state is owning these apps, and even if they are owning, the revenue these apps generate is like, it doesn't even, if it's cut, it doesn't even really make any big difference. So I think this is not going to make any difference. And even I have been speaking to people in Ladakh and other areas, they take it as a very stupid decision by the government. But yes, this might be to pass a message or to appease the people. But yeah, clearly people in Ladakh on the ground, they are not happy with it. And actually, as I said, they see it as a very stupid move. Given the economic relation, it depends on the trade and other areas. Yes, if India is able to make some cuts or make some changes in the trade relations with China, that might have some impact on the larger issue.
Right, Akash, before we let you go, one more question I want to ask you. How is this going to change the political spectrum or the status quo in Kashmir, if at all? Like, is there going to be a new shift in the political, uh, you know, landscape in Kashmir?
Uh, I think New Delhi was the first to break the status quo in Kashmir conflict on August 5 last year. And now it has been China which has altered the status quo in Kashmir by their activity in Galwan, by having us by the violent standoff with the Indian army. And I think it has definitely altered, and experts also believe in it. It has definitely altered the politics and the nature of conflict in Kashmir. Now it's a triangular dispute clearly, and as I said, and I will end with that, and it with the same note that whatever has happened in Galwan cannot be seen in isolation vis-a-vis the Kashmir dispute.
So you have a strong belief that removal of Article 370 has a direct had a direct repercussion, which is the Chinese action in the Ladakh region now.
Not only me, the political
Right.
commentators in the region,
From
the
you, I mean,
experts, and
Kashmiri,
yeah,
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 groups.
yes.
Well, that was very insightful, and thank you so much, Akash, for joining us. We hope to talk to you soon, and stay safe and take care. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ruwa. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
We'll continue this discussion with another guest, Sajjad Hussain Kargili, who is an activist in Ladakh, and he will give us an idea about how people inside Ladakh are seeing it. But before we get the next guest, we'll take a short break. Please keep listening and watching to Salam Media.
Now, COVID 19 is a global pandemic, and we need your help to flatten the curve. Islamic Relief is reaching out to the most vulnerable of our community in South Africa, Yemen, and Gaza. 400 Rand can provide a family with a food pack in South Africa, and 500 Rand a hygiene pack in Syria, Yemen, and Gaza. With your help, we can save lives across the world. Donate now. Go to www.islamic-relief.org.za.
Osman's Taj Mahal Spice and Rice. For over 80 years, Osman's Taj Mahal have been perfecting the art of the perfect blend of spices, pure, aromatic, and well-seasoned. Spices to tantalize your taste buds. From creative cuisines to gastronomical gourmet goodies, from exotic odors to traditional dishes, Osman's Taj Mahal have remained synonymous with quality spices and condiments. Taj Mahal rice, beans, and lentils. Try our range of chili bite mixes, rose and ilachi syrup, our quick and easy biryani pack, and our traditional range of spice blends. Osman's Taj Mahal. There is no substitute for quality.
Dad, well, I've been chatting with an investment broker today and...
Broker? Did the broker tell you that our economy is a mess? There's bushfires in Australia, America wanted World War III, and now the coronavirus is traveling around the world.
Well, I also thought about purchasing some crypto.
Crypto? What's that, like another pyramid scheme? I don't trust what I can't see.
There's an apartment in Belito.
So all your family will be asking to stay there for free. And what if the government takes it away, eh?
Dad, I don't think it works like that.
I'll tell you what works. Gold. At your age, I invested in gold coins and it paid for your university fees and your wedding. No contracts, no agreements. Your investment is in your hands and you own it. With a 70% growth in only 5 years, do you still doubt gold investment? Contact RJ Coin today, 031 202 4701, or visit them at 151 Stephen Lamini Road in Musgrave, Durban. Randery Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange, your passport to gold investment.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome back to the Ruwa Shah show. We are talking about the dispute between India and China in the Ladakh region. We had Akash Hassan from Kashmir who did reporting from the region and gave us very insightful information about what was actually happening on the ground. Now, we'll talk about how this entire situation is affecting the local population in Ladakh. And for that, we have with us Sajjad Hussain Kargili. He is an activist, a former journalist, and has also participated in the last parliamentary elections as an independent candidate. Assalamu alaikum, Sajjad, and thank you for being on my show.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So, Mr. Sajjad, how is the mood in your region, given that the two nuclear-armed countries are at the, at a very dangerous standoff since over a month now?
Yeah, as you know, after this abrogation of Article 370 last year, we have seen so many up and downs in Kashmir. We have seen that all the former chief ministers of the state have been, they have been booked under PSA. Almost no politician was free to speak in Kashmir about the ongoing crisis in Kashmir region. Even the state was divided into two union territories, Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir. In Ladakh, there are two districts, Leh and Kargil. Kargil was, people of Kargil were very much upset with this decision, and people in Leh, most of them were celebrating this decision. But if you will see that all the legalities of Jammu and Kashmir have been taken away in 2019, because India has some strong argument in front of international community to say that we have given enough right to the people of Kashmir as compared to the people of Gilgit and Baltistan and other places. But when all legalities have been taken away, this issue was limited between Pakistan and India and the Kashmiri people. China was not in this conflict. But right. Soon after, when China have realized that all kind of legalities have been taken away, then China tried to enter, because China was looking, because when Indian government has said that Now we are not going to talk about Kashmir. Our eyes on Gilgit-Baltistan, and we are going to take back Gilgit-Baltistan because that's our territory. And you know that in Gilgit-Baltistan there is a trade going on between India, Pakistan, and China. Uh, from Khanjarab to Hassan Abdal, the
CPEC
entire
and
territory
One Belt.
belongs to Gilgit. Yes, under one belt, one road, China-Pakistan economic corridor. That project is going on. That's Pakistan says that this is game changer project.
Mhm.
When China realizes that India is eyeing towards Gilgit-Baltistan, then they have started a kind of action on eastern border in Ladakh. Now you see that China have intruded in Ladakh, and there are so many areas they have intruded, like the Pangong Tso, Despang, Galwan Valley. Almost these all areas are strategically very important areas. If you will see after now, it has been more than 1 month, almost 2 months now. We have seen a violent face off between the Indian army and the Chinese army, and the 20 Indian armies have been killed. Now the things are, after so much of diplomatic negotiations and all these things, now things are coming, thin it
Things have
down now.
started to calm down after
Yeah,
both the armies and their the diplomatic talks negotiations
talks.
happened between India and China, right? You said that this region is very strategically very important. Could you please highlight why is not only Galwan Valley but the entire Ladakh region strategically so important to all those countries, India, China, and
Be,
also Pakistan?
look, this Ladakh region, we are in Ladakh region which connects South Asia with Central Asia. We are in between of three nuclear powers, China, Pakistan, and India. And we have the route of the ancient Silk route passes through Ladakh and Gilgit Baltistan area. This entire region was one before the partition. Uh, from Leh to Skardu, this area was called Ladakh Wazarat, which we call the Greater Ladakh.
Mhm.
And later, the Gilgit and Baltistan has become one state, and Ladakh has been divided, and you know that this area has been included with Jammu and Kashmir area. If you will see, like this entire region, on one side there is Gilgit Baltistan, where China and Pakistan is trying to have a very much deep cooperation, economic ties, and the strategic ties, and now Afghanistan and Iran, all these countries are also joining this CPEC project. So it becomes strategically very important. On other side, if you will see, Ladakh also known as the western side of Tibet. If you will go from this eastern Ladakh border area, you will go after Aksai Chin, there is Tibet region, and Tibet is also we have very much similar cultural, similarities and ethnic similarities, and we have linguistic similarities. And if you will see, this region was won before the partition, before the 1947, and in 20th century. But if you will see this area now, uh, the area has become very much hostile after this Kashmir move in last August in 2019. So this area is very much, sensitive area in terms of strategical point of view.
Right, Mr. Sajad, you said that you talked about the Greater Ladakh, and we have seen several bloody wars fought between India, Pakistan, India, China on your land in Ladakh. And
Yeah.
generations have seen blood on that land. Now, how is this recent development being seen as by the local population?
Look, we have been divided from our one of our well-known area, that is Gilgit-Baltistan. Still, we have 14,000 divided families in Ladakh and Baltistan. Our people couldn't meet yet. Even they are going to meet their families for last 70 years, and it's not too far. One should have to go via Amritsar to Wagah to Islamabad, then to Skardu, just to meet their relatives. And those people, even only those people can go who have some money, who are financially well off. But those poor people who have their relatives on the other side of the border cannot meet, and they have almost died for them. So you can understand the problem plights of the people. We have seen lots of wars. Even in 1947, after 65, many areas have been recaptured by Indian Army in 71. All this Nubra area and the Hundurmo area of in Kargil and Leh areas. These all areas have been recaptured in 1971, and you can see we have seen wars after 20, 30 years. Uh, Now we are tired of these all wars. People of this region don't want any kind of escalation of conflict, anything. But still, we are in a state of confusion, because we are looking for a hope. In last year, when Ladakh was divided and declared it as a union territory, Ladakh will not. Unfortunately, the government of India has used the parliament to power, used the parliament and power to snatch the rights of the people of Ladakh. People of Kargil always stood against this division of the state. We have always been against the removal of Article 370 and 35A, but they have changed. They have changed
But
the
there is an
issue.
elected Bharatiya Janata Party MP from Ladakh, who has openly supported the abrogation of Article 370, and but now is surprisingly silent on the recent development in Galwan. What has changed since then? Is he not happy that India and China are?
All the BJP leaders were making hue and cry before PM Prime Minister Modi's statements, and they are showing their jingoism. But when PM said that no one has intruded into our territory and no one has taken our land, they all, all remain silent, and they are still they are silent. But still, if you will see, uh, there are now China has, as of now, China has thinned down the troops at many places, but Chinese troops had agreed to move back from. They have moved back from Galwan Valley, PP-15, patrolling point 15 and 17. But still, they are 2 kilometers inside the LAC in Galwan side. They are in Pangong Tso, finger 4 to finger 8. They are still there. Their soldiers and their infrastructure they have built there. Why BJP is silent still? I'm not understanding, because if you will see the defense minister, he has given a statement. He said no country in the world can touch or occupy even an inch of Indian territory. But at the same time, he said that we cannot guarantee. You understand?
Right.
The process in the talks should go to resolution the issue, but we cannot,
This is
still
something
we
that
cannot
I
guarantee.
also asked
So
our previous guest.
this is a kind of double standard from the BJP leaders. On one side, they are saying that we are the sons of Bharat Mata and we are doing this and that, and we are there to defend every inch of land. But on the other side, PM has not even dared to take name of China. He
Mhm.
visited Ladakh. He has not taken the name of China, even a single.
But there are satellite images that show that, there are structures being erected on some parts of in Galwan, after which actually the tension began, and contradictory statements from even the Indian Army and the Indian government that nothing, no part has been occupied, no part of Ladakh region has been occupied by China. But we know about the Aksai chain that was already under the control of China right now. Uh, how does all this fit, and how is the local Ladakhi leadership seeing this?
Look, people are not now believing on these BJP leaders because they are lying. They are lying because not only me, even the army veterans are saying that what PM has said and what the ground reality is totally different. These two things are totally different. China has intruded into our territory. Even BJP leaders has said. Earlier, the MP Ladakh has said that our pasture land, grazing land, has been captured by the Chinese army. They were saying entire Aksai chain is ours. Now they are happy with just telling China that China has moved back 1.5 kilometers in Galwan Valley from the the place where they have intruded. Look, the entire this LAC is, it's all about perception because the LAC is not demarcated yet. China has their own kind of perception about LAC, and India has its own kind of a perception about LAC. Both the countries have a sort of claimant territory in, and they had they did some agreement in 1993 and 1959. And now China, what China did, China has, you know uh, violated all those agreements, and they have intruded into our territory. But still, I'm shocked to, I'm not understanding why the PM and the government is not saying the truth to the nation. They are not saying the truth to the people of India. And
Right.
they,
Mr.
on
Sayyad, as you also mentioned that this line of actual control between India and China is very poorly demarcated, and there are rivers, there are some mountains. So
yeah,
there are also nomad groups that are based in that region and travel through that region at least. Now it has all affected on, it has a huge effect impact on them, their lives, and also the goats that we produce, the very famous, world famous pashmina
Pashmina,
fabric.
yeah.
Right, so how is it going to impact all of it?
No, people are very much. I have heard so many statements of some of the people of that area. They were saying that even army is not allowing us to go into the towards the grazing land, and people are suffered a lot. And unfortunately, the UT administration, the current UT administration, which was claiming that the Ladakhis have been discriminated by the Kashmiris, and now we
Mhm.
are giving everything to the Ladakhis. They are not even they're not even asking to the people what they are facing after this stand off. Unfortunately, they are the administration is totally it's almost cut off from the public, and that's why people are suffering. And the local people and the local leaders, sarpanches, punches, and even the councillor who is from BJP of that area, they are claiming that China has intruded into our territory and they are occupying our grazing land, and no action has been taken yet.
So, India, when they declared Ladakh as a union territory and divided the state of Jammu and Kashmir, it claimed that the Indian government claimed that this is for the progression and the development of the region. And so, it has been 1 year almost now. We are entering August. How much progression do you see on the ground?
Look, for 70 years, this was one right we had, that was the special status and the representation. We use it to proudly say that this is the difference between India and Pakistan. Because on other side, in Gilgit Baltistan, our brothers in Gilgit Baltistan, they had no voting right. They had no representation. Now, after 72 years, Narendra Modi and Amit Shah have brought us to this level that now the people people of Gilgit and Baltistan, they are going for assembly election next month, and we have lost every single representation in this area. We have only Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council, that is the local body, which was also the status, the Ladakh Autonomous Hill Council, the institution was established during this by the Jammu and Kashmir government, and even the Hill Council has been, now powerless, disempowering every day. The financial powers have been taken away. Now everything is in the hands of bureaucracy. Look, our state has been divided, like we were almost already divided in 1947. Our state was divided. Half of the state is that side with Pakistan, half of this Kargil and Leh, other side is Gilgit and Baltistan.
Okay,
Culturally,
Mr. Sarma,
historically, geographically, we are one.
according to the United Nations demarcation of the territory, Ladakh, which is present-day Union territory of the India, is also a part of the United Nations declared disputed territory, right? As is Gilgit-Baltistan and that side of Kashmir. But there is there is a sentiment in the Kashmir region, which is the right of self-determination that people have been asking for the last 75 years. Have people of Ladakh ever supported that, or what is their sentiment about the dispute of Kashmir, entire Kashmir region? Is there any sentiment that can be related to what happens in Kashmir?
No, people of Ladakh, particularly people of Kargil, where we always did advocacy for peaceful dialogue and peaceful resolution, peaceful settlement of the Kashmir issue. We never supported the
You
violence.
agree that the
But
region is disputed? The people
pardon,
of Ladakh know that the region is disputed.
yes, look,
Right.
if we say if it is not disputed, half of our territory on the other side, in Pakistan side, that is disputed. If that is disputed, which means something is disputed. We can't say that the Kashmir is not disputed. Kashmir is disputed, whether the dispute is in this side or that side. It's somehow disputed territory. We all should accept this
And
fact that this is true.
question earlier was, how have the Ladakhi people responded to that freedom struggle, a freedom movement of Kashmiri people that has been going on for the last 70 years? Also, there are various human rights atrocities that occur in that part of the region.
Apart from human rights violations in Kashmir, people of Ladakh has never supported the freedom struggle, what they say, the freedom struggle of Kashmir, because people of our region have seen that those who are on the other side of the border are very much disempowered by the government of Pakistan, and the people of this region have seen no scope in this freedom struggle or any kind of accession with the other country. So that's why the people of our region, they have never supported the freedom struggle idea, because our region has been totally isolated and alienated by the Pakistani establishment in Gilgit Baltistan. But still, any kind of human rights violation in Kashmir and an innocent killing in Kashmir, the people of Ladakh have strongly condemned it, and we have strongly supported the people of Kashmir. We have supported the people of Kashmir in a framework of Indian democracy, in a framework of equal right and equal sharing in this democratic setup under the Indian Constitution and with the special status of Jammu and Kashmir.
Right, there seems to be a lot of disputes in this region. You talk about Greater Ladakh. There is a part that talks about the entire Jammu and Kashmir region, or the Kashmir region. So, how do you see the future of Ladakh, given that no issue has been ever properly been resolved between any of those nuclear powers?
Look, the issue, if no war can change the reality first, and no war can change the status of dispute. Even 5th August move cannot change the reality that the problem uh, Kashmir problem is only can be solved with negotiations, with dialogue, and without taking confidence the people of Kashmir. And people of Kashmir means all part of Kashmir area, including Ladakh and Gilgit Baltistan. The issue cannot be solved, and the dispute will remain as it is, and the conflict will remain, it will continue. Because if you will see, when the reorganization bill was passed in Indian Parliament on 5th August, Home Minister said that terrorism has now the militancy will end, and there will be no terrorism, there will be no killing. Now we are seeing that after 1 year, we are saying that seeing that this the militancy is increasing day by day. There is a huge violence even during the pandemic we have seen in Kashmir Valley. So I don't think that violence cannot end the violence.
Mhm.
Only there is dialogue which can bring peace. We should, the government of India and Pakistan should sit
But
together
that is
and
exactly the problem. The governments are not accepting that the region is a dispute. Indian government has repeatedly refused to accept that Kashmir or Jammu and Kashmir is an international dispute. Anyway, we'll talk about that. But now this Galwan situation that is happening right now in Ladakh region, is there fear among people? How are people looking at it? Because as I earlier mentioned, that Ladakh has witnessed many wars, which has affected them, dislocated people from one region to another region. This time, how are they looking at it? Is there fear among people?
no, there is no scope of war right now in Ladakh region, because now the disengagement process is almost going on, and people don't like war, and they didn't support the war, because as you said, rightly said, that we have seen so many wars in this region. Even we are not able to uh, grew up from this Kargil war impact. Still, we have you can see the impact of Kargil war in our region. So this people are saying that every issue related to any dispute should be end of with peaceful negotiation, peaceful dialogue. In Ladakh, if you will see, the LAC politics is all about perception in LAC. If you will see about this LAC politics, the politics of Ladakh LAC is all about perception, and the negotiation is all about bargaining. So we will see
You
how
said
China
negotiation.
and
Recently, when reporters from Kashmir or even the Indian mainstream media, they tried to they tried to visit the Galwan Valley, but they were all stopped in Leh itself at the most. And nobody, why is the media not being allowed to go ahead?
I don't know. That should be the answer should be given by the government. I don't know why they have stopped it, but they should have given us chance to move beyond
Because
Leh
you talk
city.
about perception and
So
all,
many,
and this is
so many,
how
so many
perception has
mainstream
changed.
media. So many mainstream media, they have shown Galwan Valley from Leh city only.
Right.
If you will see, Leh is uh, the Galwan area is more than 250 kilometers from Leh city, and that's why the most of the Ladakhi people, they have exposed the mainstream media, particularly the media which is pro BJP media, which has become a mouthpiece of the government now. Those who were showing the saying that every mountain behind them, they were saying that Galwan, this is Galwan Valley. This is very unfortunate, and a kind of yellow journalism they were doing. So
Right.
now,
Sajad, we have a few minutes, but I want to ask one particular question. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi recently in a video message said that China has a larger agenda with whatever happened in the past few weeks. It's going to pressurize the Indian government on something on Kashmir, about Kashmir, and this is the Chinese way of bringing the Indian government to pressure. How do you see this statement of Rahul Gandhi?
He's somehow right, because China is trying to, now China is feeling somehow insecure,
Mhm,
because after this abrogation of Articles 370, because all legalities of Ladakh has been taken away. Now India and America is very much closer to each other.
mhm,
Now they are doing a joint drill in South China Sea. But if you will see the geopolitical situation, you will see that now China and Iran, they are going for strategic, cooperation.
right.
And Iran removed India from Chabahar, and there is a good relations between India and Israel in America. So that's why China is trying to convey a message to India that I'm the boss in this region, and
Mhm.
you should stay away from any kind of
So you do believe
conflict
that
with
India's
China.
unilateral action on August 5, 2019, has made China do what they have done in the past few weeks? But
Unfortunately,
yeah, please.
unfortunately, the failure of domestic policies of and the international response have let these all things, which we are seeing in Eastern Ladakh, or we are seeing that even United Nations is saying that all the law which has been passed last year, the CAA, is a discriminatory in nature. So all these things, the failure of domestic policies of we have receiving the international response, and government will pay, and unfortunately the nation will pay.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Sajjad Hussaini, and it was really nice talking to you. Thank you for joining
Thank
us
you.
tonight. We hope to see you again
Thank
sometime
you.
soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruwa. Thank you.
Well, that was all for tonight. Thank you for watching my show. Keep watching and sharing this from our social media pages of Salam Media. And I'll be back next Tuesday. Till then, keep watching and listening to Salam Media. Assalamu alaikum.